Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in Facebook land. Now, this episode of our Facebook Live is the second installment of server-side API purchase events for your Facebook Pixel. Yesterday we had the first installment, and today we're going to have the second one. And today I'm going to show you a little bit of an insight on how you're going to see the server-side events in your Facebook Events Manager and what you can do with them. And I'm going to start kind of lifting the curtain a little bit on the impact that this server-side Pixel event business can actually have. So while we're kind of waiting here for some people to join us, I just had a chance to share this screen into or this video into the groups. So if you're seeing this in a group, go ahead and click through to the original location and say hi. Give me a chat, give me a comment, let me know that you're there so that we can have this be a little bit interactive. If you have any questions, there's a big buzz in the Facebook groups overall. And that's an awesome thing. And I think we are doing very cool and very great with a solution that we're building in, or that we've built in Trackify. All right. Okay. So cool. Now, let me prep my screen here a little bit for sharing. I want to make a quick summary of what we were doing, what we did yesterday. Let me see where we are here. I've prepared some cool things for you, but I'm always running short on when it comes down right to the wire on the, where did it go now? It's probably one of those untitled things. I didn't name them, and now I'm having a hard time finding it. Let's see. Mind map. No, that's very old. Interesting. Okay, let's look for modified. Strange. Maybe I trashed that mind map from yesterday. That would be a bummer. Oh, here it is. Here it is. It is. Yes. Okay, awesome. Okay, so let me share this real quick and let's run through a quick summary of this, and then I'm going to show you how this actually looks and how it works. I'm going to show you a total demo of how the events work in the back end and what all you can do with them. All right, cool. So here is the mind map, and I'm going to take my video off, and I'm going to zoom in here so that you can actually see something. And again, if you have any questions at all, click through to the original place of the video, to the original location on my personal page, and there you can type in a comment and I'll see it here. So if you have any questions on the way, just let me know. Type it into the original location of the video so I can see it while we're live. Okay, so here is the quick overview and recap of what we went through yesterday. When the user completes the purchase on the thank you page in Shopify, the Pixel event fires in the browser. There are a couple of problems with that, because if anything gets in the way, such as an ad blocker or Facebook preferences where the user says, don't track me, or the browser suppresses pixels such as Safari on iDevices does, or if the user leaves the thank you page too quickly and other things go wrong, or if there's another app that suppresses Pixel events due to GDPR preferences or CCPA regulation preferences. All of these situations can happen here, and they can shortcut or prevent the browser event from actually getting through to Facebook. And then they get stuck, and as a result, you're going to miss these events, and you're going to miss them from your reporting in your ads manager where the attributions are showing. Right? Okay, so now Now that the user has completed the purchase and all this stuff here happened in the browser, which, it happens just fine. It works just fine. Usually in about 92 to 95% of all cases. So usually there isn't all that much missing, but you could be in a special problematic scenario where, maybe you advertise mostly to California and your Facebook preferences have basically eliminated personal private data from California users, and now you have a hard time attributing anything and tracking anything. So anyway, if you go now, the next step here is the user completes the purchase, all the stuff happens in the browser. Now the order comes into Shopify, and here is where the server-side event gets set off, right? So all of the problems that we talked about in the browser, they don't exist. We can just simply bypass them and fire the server-side event, and they'll come into Facebook. As a result, you get all events. You get a purchase event absolutely for all purchases, for every single purchase. They do get deduplicated. So the cool thing is that obviously we're still firing browser events, right? We're still generating the browser events in the front end. So the server-side events are not designed to replace the browser events completely, but they're designed to supplement them so that if you have any missing events in the browser, you can now use the server events, and you have the server events to kind of fall back on. And so now as a result, you get all events, but you need to be worried about, or actually you don't need to be worried about it, because we take care of it in collaboration with Facebook, so that you deduplicate, right? So for every server event that comes in and that has already been fired in the browser, you don't want to have that count twice. And so it needs to be deduplicated, and it needs to send a unique ID by which Facebook can recognize that this server event is for the same conversion as what you've already fired in the browser, and then not double count them. Okay, and that's what happens in the back here, in the back end. I'm going to demo this in just a minute. The other cool thing I'm going to show you today, I'm going to demo you for you today, is that there are other channels, other order channels. So even if the user isn't even there in the Shopify thank you page, you can get the server-side purchase event. So for example, if you have a sales channel going on eBay or on Amazon, or on a Facebook page for that matter, right? The order is placed, and then it comes into Shopify for purpose of fulfillment and accounting and all kinds of things. So as long as the order comes in to your Shopify order list, it will be picked up by Trackify, and Trackify will generate a server-side event for it. All right, so that's cool. It works with recurring orders for Recart. It works with manually entered orders. So if you have kind of like a follow-up funnel where you call people back on the phone that place orders and they get entered manually, you get an event for all of these. And why would you want that? Because the thing about funnels, the thing about the buying behavior nowadays is that your buyers will have multiple connections with you, multiple touch points, right? So they may have seen initially an ad on Facebook and clicked on it. Maybe they have even clicked on a retargeting ad, but they still didn't buy. So now they go to Amazon and research, and your product comes up there because you have it selling on Amazon or on eBay. Or you call them back and it's going to be a phone order, or they call in and they place an order on the phone that you can't directly connect to an existing order that they've already started. So you enter the order manually and place it manually. You take the credit card over the phone, put it in, take the payment, there you go. Well, there's not going to be a browser event because the user is not in the browser when the order is placed, right? So we can't pick up that order with the browser event, but we can pick it up with the server-side event, and that's what we do, right? So therefore now you have the data of the user and of that order connects back to Facebook, and Facebook can use the matching data that we're sending with the server-side events to connect that to the initial Facebook click on the ad. And so even if the order is placed over the phone or over some other channel where the user is actually not firing an event in the browser at all, it will be counted towards Facebook's purchases. And if Facebook is able to match the data, the user data that is included in the server-side purchase event with the user data that clicked on the order, clicked on the paid impression of the ad post, then you'll have an attribution event, and you'll see the attribution for that purchase. And that's cool. That, I mean, the more attribution you get, the better, because that lets you know which ads are working, and that's a cool thing. Okay, so let's take a look at this cool tool that is inside the Facebook Events Manager. So, I always have a feeling that I need to record a whole new set of how-to videos that walk you through all kinds of things on Facebook in the Business Manager, because this new layout is quite different from what it was before. It's also similar, but there are so many differences about it that it's really kind of tricky in some cases to find your way and see what's going on. So anyway, here we are in, you have the big mega menu here is now kind of divided up with this business tools thing here, this button. And so we are in the Events Manager, and inside the Events Manager, we are in a pixel. And here's your pixel overview, right? You're familiar with this view. And then when you go to test events, this is a very cool tool where you can actually see which events are firing on the website. So we generally recommend that you check your events in your shop in this test tool, in addition, at least in addition, if not instead of checking it in Facebook Pixel Helper, all right? Because why? Because this is more reliable. In Facebook Pixel Helper, depending on how you click on it and when you open it, you may actually miss some events and think that they're not getting fired when they actually are getting fired. And here in the test tool, you will see that they are getting fired. All right. So let's see here. So now I'm going to go into this demo shop that I have here, and you can see here there are already things that are firing up here. And so this is a view content event and a page view event. Don't worry about this here. This is just because this particular product with this pixel doesn't have a catalog set up for it, so it has nothing to do with tracking. Now, so I'm on a product page. I wonder if I should share this as a secondary screen to the BeLive. Let me see if I can do that, if that's practical. Okay, so I'm going to share another screen. I'm just going to use this application window right here, and I'm going to show it in a stream. Okay, so left and right, right? I'm going to kind of go back and forth between them. So just so you see where I am and where these events are happening, right? So I'm here on a product page, and I see that the view content event fires. I'm just going to actually go through all of the events here, just kind of as a little summary of how Trackify fires some special events that are not usual, but you can use them to generate more refined user data, and therefore better audiences, better optimization, and all kinds of cool things. So the next event here fires when you select another variant. You see what happened here? Let me hide this real quick so that you can see it. And let's see, I think, yeah, you just have to kind of blow it up, make it full screen. I think you should be able to read it. So what happens here, so the latest events always come up on top, right? So it fires an event here, customized product. That's actually a standard event. It's not a custom event. It's called customized product. And we fire that whenever someone engages with the product by selecting another variant, right? So selecting another variant fires this special event. It's a standard event, not a custom event, but it's not standard in Shopify. It's a standard event in Facebook, which in this case, you can use to build a better custom audience, because these users who have selected a variant are more engaged than the people who just fired up a view content event and just went away from the page. Okay, so next, I'm going to show you what I'm doing here in the other screen. I'm going to just click on the Add to Cart button, and you can see what happens over here. We have an Add to Cart event that fires on a button click, and then we have a View Cart event. That is a custom event that we're adding in Trackify as a special add-on. And again, you can use that for showing everyone who actually pulled up the cart page. And this, it may be different for your specific shop depending on how your cart action is configured. But it's just one additional event here that you can use. All right, now I'm going to head over and click on the checkout page. And I'm going to immediately see the initiate checkout event over here. And now I'm just going to quickly go through the checkout steps here and put everything together. There's payment information. That's not that important that you see that anyway. All right, so, and there we go. I'm going to place the order now. I'm going to hit pay now. And I'm coming up here on the thank you page. And here's my Shopify thank you page. And now let's look at what happened here in the meantime. So I have a purchase event here. This purchase event has an event ID, and it fired right here. So now we can chat for a few more minutes, because the way that we have implemented the server-side events is that they do take a couple of minutes to come through. This has been an awesome new way to do this. And in a few minutes, we'll see this right here. So there you go. Now, let me see how to best show you this. So what happened here is you can see this is the same purchase. It has the same event ID. And you can see right here in the test tool that Facebook has deduplicated this event. You can see here that the event was generated by the server, from the server, right? Whereas this event was generated in the browser. And between these two events, Facebook has used the browser event and has deduplicated or ignored the server event, right? So that's how it works. Now, so far so good. So now I showed you a redundant event, right? So far, this is only a redundant event. Let me see. Now, so that's an example for how the server-side events are just a backup, or a fallback if the browser event wouldn't have fired for whatever reason. If I had been in Safari and I hadn't seen a browser event, or if for any other reason this browser purchase event wouldn't have fired, I would still have seen the server-side event for that same order, right? And so one of them would have been processed by Facebook, and that's awesome backup or awesome fallback for this purpose. All right, now let me see if this kind of sharing works, because now let's go into the next level, the next layer of what we can do here, what kind of events we can, or what kind of orders we can actually get to fire. So let me see if I share this. Yes, okay, that's awesome. This, okay, right. That's that, and that's that. Sorry, this is kind of like a little bit slightly confusing because I'm looking at multiple windows that are shared in BeLive. It's actually really cool. It's a little bit confusing. Okay, so here we go. So this here is this order. And let's actually pop one of those open so we can see a little bit of the detail of the order, right? So we have here the event ID, we have the value. So that's 3235. And we're just going to remember that. And then we're going to share, I'm going to share this other video here, this other screen. I'm actually going to hide this one so we can see it better. So this right here is the order for which this event has fired, right? Right here you can see it. So this order is the one. That's the one that the purchase event, the server-side event has fired for. and also the browser event. Okay, great. So now let's take another example. I'm going to go on this page here on this screen that I'm sharing, and I'm going to create an order manually. Okay, so I'm here on the phone with my buyer, and the buyer orders a very popular product. Let's say this one here. And so I'm going to enter my buyer's information and everything. So let's just say, where is that part? I don't even know. Find or create a customer. So I don't actually need to go through this. In real life, you would go through this. Obviously, you would put your customer in here and do everything you need to do here, and then you could put a tag in here, right? So order. This is an order tag. This is called an order tag, and you could maybe put manual order in here, and maybe you put your employee initial in there. Let's just say, right? Because you have a big team, multiple people are taking orders, so you want to have the order marked as manual order, and you want to be able to credit your or track the order to your order taker and see what kind of conversion rates they get or whatever, right? So now if I take the payment here, pay with credit card, and then mark as paid, that's what's going to create the order. Okay, so I'm going to hit mark as paid, and then it's asked me to confirm this here. And before I confirm this, I'm actually going to share back the, sorry, that's now this one. Yeah, interesting. Okay, let's see. So this is the way we had it before. Okay, so here on the left side, we now see again the test tool in Facebook. And obviously, so what we're waiting for, what we're looking for is, once I create this order over here, it should take maybe a minute or two for this order to show up over here on the other side. So we've created the order. The order is now in our order list over here. Let's just see, it's $25.93. And let's hide this and kind of keep watching this. So the point is, again, to just kind of bridge the gap here a little bit. The point, what's going to happen here is that this manually placed order that was generated in the shop manually, just in the back end, without any buyer, without any user being in the browser or being present in the order itself, it's still going to generate a server-side purchase event. And once you've actually captured user information there, the personal information of the user who placed that order over the phone is going to be sent with the server-side event and can be used to match the Facebook user, and then Facebook can connect the dots and connect that order, that purchase, to the attribution event when they clicked or viewed your ads, right? Okay, so let's see now. So that's our, okay, let me hide myself here. Let's see if it came. It did come in here. It's a little bit strange that it says deduplicated. And let's just double check here if this is for the right order. Yes, it is. Okay, you see here's a cool thing too. We have the order tags, so you can even build a custom audience here theoretically, right, for manual orders. Or you can build a custom audience for your Amazon orders, or let's say for your eBay orders, because all these order tags are coming in here. When you use third-party integrations, for example, Cartook or OCU or Intercart, they typically put order tags in the orders, and you can then actually extract customers or custom audiences, I should say, from that directly. So our third-party integrations are in progress. They're not quite done yet, but some of them are totally working, but not in official release yet. And some of them are going to be done over the course of the next week, I think. All right, cool. So that's that. That's pretty cool so far, right? So what else do you want to see? Let's see. While we're in Facebook here, let's go back to the overview window. And here, I'm just gonna select today only here and see what happened here. So here are my purchase events, and you can see here in the list, you see that some of them came from the browser and some of them came from the server. You have kind of like here a score. This score is usually much better than this. That has something to do, the lowness of this score here has something to do with the fact that we have a whole lot of orders that don't have proper email addresses in there, and so they cannot be very well matched. But so this here is how this would pop open. And I've recorded a short little video in a real user account that where we have been using the events for a little while. And I'm going to see if I can play this here for you. So this here is a video. Let me see if I can get this any larger. Let me see. 200% is probably a bit big. Maybe not. Maybe that's, well, let's see. Can I fit? How about fit? No, fit is too small, and I wish I could enter a specific percentage, but I don't think I can. Okay, so let's go with this one. I'm just going to play it for you and comment as I go. There's no sound here, but see what happens is you have, so let's back up. So you have the blue curve, which is the browser events, and you have the green curve, which is the server-side events. And between them, they go by two different scales. So this doesn't mean that more browser events were received than server-side events. The browser events go by the scale on the left, and the server events go by the scale on the right, which is currently cut off here. So they're totally different scales, but you kind of see where ups and downs are. And when you hover, like I do here in this video, along those nodes, you can see for each node where you hover that you get a breakdown here. You get a breakdown between, for this time frame here, in this case, September 2nd, 1 o'clock through 7 p.m., we received 66 browser events and 119 server events. And a lot of these server events were deduplicated. So that's cool too, right? And even browser events can be deduplicated. So if for some reason there should be a duplicate event for the same transaction in the browser, it also gets deduplicated, as you can see right here. But then between the processed events, so the 64 in the browser that were processed and 31 in the server that were not deduplicated, so they're complementary here between these two. So you have a total of 95 events in this particular time frame that were actually processed by Facebook. And that means they were considered for attribution, right? And they were processed in the sense that you can now build custom audiences from them, and they are considered for attribution and things like that. So this is a very cool thing that you can see here in this tool, in this overview tool. And the next step is, of course, that you have to look over in your ads manager and see how does that actually play out for attribution. Now, for the attribution, I want to leave you hanging a little bit because just as a teaser here for today's Facebook Live, let me say that in one account that we have now for about 30 days used the server-side events, what happened there was the revenue, the value, the purchase value went up by 20%, whereas, so that's the attributed purchase value, went up by 20% over the course of 30 days. And the amount spent, the dollar amount spent in that account in the same 30-day time frame actually went down by 10%. So purchase went up by 20%, ad spend went down by 10%, and that is compared to the 30-day period before that. So as you can see, that is a tremendous increase in attributed sales that you can see in Facebook, and that lets you know in Facebook where you can scale and where the action is happening that actually makes you money. And that's what this is all about, right? In this time where we're losing left and right ways to find our attribution and know which ads are working. And there are all kinds of external reasons for that, right? There are new regulations, CCPA, California, GDPR in Europe. There's this war going on between Facebook and Apple, where Apple, is misbehaving in terms of, restricting their devices and restricting their apps from sending the events, the conversion events, through to Facebook. So all these factors play an important role in restricting our way to actually see conversions and see our tracking. And the server-side events really do help with that. They help with that because they bypass this issue of browser being blocked or anything where browser events are actually missed. And they also add additional conversions for consideration that you were never able to see before, right? Recurring orders, manually placed orders, orders that were placed from outside where the Facebook users just couldn't be identified, not even with advanced matching that is sent with the browser events, or where the user wasn't even there in a browser when the order was placed. So all of these conversions play a role in showing you more where your conversions are, where your attributions are, and it really helps you spend more and spend more effectively in your Facebook ads. All right, so let's see. This is Friday. Come back on Monday at noon. I will schedule another Facebook Live for another episode of server-side events, how they work and what they can do for you. They are live in Trackify right now. They're going to be a feature of the marketer plan. That's our plan that is $59.95 at this time per month. And you can come in and try it out even in the business plan. So the server-side events are currently available. You can activate them in the business plan, but we will not be able to include them in the cost of the business plan because as you will see, they're a total game changer. They make everything that you're complaining about now, just like the shadows will be lifted from what you're not able to see in Ads Manager, and you'll be able to see what actually is going on. So it's a tremendous value, and it actually requires quite a bit of resources on the back end to facilitate, the extra traffic from our servers directly to Facebook. So you will probably, once you see it and once you have used it and tried it out, you will probably agree with me that it's worth it. So, all right. So come back on Monday. Have a great weekend in the meantime, and have fun on Facebook, and be prepared. Start preparing. If you haven't started already, you really need to get behind it. Start preparing for the last quarter here and get everything lined up, because e-commerce is going to be a big boom. At the extent to which shops stay closed for Black Friday, people will want to get their great deals online, and that's where we come in, and that's where you come in. Thanks a lot for watching. This is Thomas Bartke signing off. See you on Monday.